Hi everyone, so welcome back to my channel. So myself Raza, and in this video I am going to discuss the chapter real numbers of class 10, right? So in this video I am going to discuss exercise number 1.2, so which is important for the 10th class public examinations. So if you are new to this channel, so please subscribe the channel and watch the video till the end. So if you like the video, please share with your friends, right? So let us begin the video. Now in this particular exercise 1.2, so we are going to discuss about the fundamental theorem of arithmetic. So what is fundamental theorem of arithmetic, right? So when you go on with the numbers, so we can see that there are two types of numbers, so based on the factors, right? So one is a prime number and the other one is a composite number. So what is meant by a prime number? So prime number means it has only two factors. So what are those two factors? 1 and the number itself. So a prime number is nothing but a number which has only two factors, that is 1 and itself, right? On the other side, so we are having a composite number. So what is meant by composite number? So composite number means if a number has more than two factors, then we call such a number as composite number. So for these composite numbers, so we are going to have a fundamental theorem of arithmetic. Now let us see what fundamental theorem of arithmetic states, right? Now for suppose if we consider a composite number, so every composite number we can express. So express in the sense we can factorize it as product of primes. So we can write it as product of primes, and this factorization is unique. The factorization is unique apart from the order in which the prime factors occur. So what is the meaning of this? So if we consider any composite number, so we can write that composite number as powers of products of primes, and the order of prime factors is not important, right? So we can start with any number, right? For suppose if I consider a number 12, right? So this 12 I can write it as 2 into 3. So 2 2s are 4, 4 3s are 12. Or I can start with 3. So 3 into 2 into 2. Or you can write as 2 into 3 into 2. So however you write, so you are going to get the same value 12. But here the order, so here the order is being changed, right? So here this order is not important, right? So this particular factorization we can also write it as 2 square into 3. So 2 square into 3. So that is what I am saying. So every composite number can be expressed as powers of products of primes. So here powers of products of prime means if you are having the same prime factor repeated more number of times, then you can simply write it as power. Okay. Now in general, so we can directly represent this as, so for suppose if you consider any composite number x, so for suppose you consider any composite number x, then we can factorize it as p1 x is equal to p1 into p2 into p3 into so on pn. So here p1 p2 p3 pn are nothing but the prime numbers, and they are considered in ascending order. So for convenience, just we are writing in the order of increasing order, right? So for convenience, that's it. So there is no condition that we need to write it in increasing order only. So just for convenience, so to avoid the confusion, so we are following ascending order, right? Now let us see one more example. So this is nothing but example 27300. So what is the prime factorization? So prime factorization of this particular thing is nothing but 2 into 2 into 3 into 5 into 5 into 7 into 13. So if you observe each and every number, so each and every number is a prime factor, right? So from this what I can say, so 2 divides 27300, the same way 3 also divides 27300, 5 divides, 7 divides, and 13 also divides 27,300, right? So this particular 27,300 I can write it as 2 square into 3 into 5 square into 7 into 13. So this is nothing but the prime factorization. So we call it as prime factorization, and The fundamental theorem of arithmetic also states the same thing, right? So every composite number, so we can represent it as powers of products of primes irrespective of their order of writing. Okay, now based on this prime factorization, so using this prime factorization, so we are going to deal with the LCM and HCF. LCM and HCF. So for suppose, so what is meant by HCF? So HCF is nothing but highest common factor. So highest common factor means the factor so which divides both the numbers. So the highest number which divides the given both numbers, and LCM means the least common multiple. Now let us see first of all HCF of two numbers. Sorry, HCF of numbers. So when you consider HCF of numbers, so HCF of numbers is nothing but the product of smallest powers. The product of smallest power of each common prime factor of the numbers, right? So for suppose, if I consider a number 6 and if I consider a number 8, then what is the HCF of these two numbers? So for that, what I need to do is, so I need to prime factorize this. So 2 into 3. So I can write as 2 into 3, and if there is nothing in the power, then simply you can consider it as power 1. Next, how can you write 8 as? So 8 I can write it as 2 into 2 into 2, so which I can write as 2 power 3. So do you have 3 factor in this? So we don't have 3 factors. So if you don't have 3 factors, so you can simply write it as 3 power 0. Now what HCF of numbers is saying is, so product of smallest powers. So product of smallest power of each common prime factor of the numbers. Now from this, if I want to write the HCF, so if I want to write the HCF, what I should do? I need to take common prime factors. So among those common prime factors, you need to take the smallest power. So here the prime factor is 2, here also the prime factor is 2. So that is the common prime factor. Now we need to see the powers. That too, which power we need to consider here? Smallest power. So 2 power 1 and 2 power 3. So amongst these two, so which is having the smallest power? So it is nothing but 2 power 1, right? So 2 power 1 into, so since I need to take the product of those things, right? So here we need to observe these two things. So 3 and 3. So here the power is 1, here the power is 0. So which is the smallest power? So it is nothing but 3 power 0. So from this what we can say? So 2 into 3 power 0 is 1. So finally HCF is nothing but 2. So likewise you need to find out the HCF of the numbers. So if you don't find any common prime factors, then you simply consider them as power zeros. Okay, so you need to consider those values with power zeros, right? Next, so this is nothing but how we can find out HCF of the numbers. So for suppose if you are having 3 numbers, so for 3 numbers also you need to proceed in the same way. If any common prime factor is missing, just consider it as, so some prime factor power 0, right? Let us move on to the least common factor. So how to find the least common multiple of numbers? So if I consider the same example 6 and 8, so it is quite opposite to HCF. So here in the HCF we need to consider the smallest powers, whereas in LCM we need to consider the greatest powers. So the same thing. So 6 I can write as 2 power 1 into 3 power 1, and 8 I can write as 2 cube, right? So 2 cube into 3 power 0. Now to find out LCM, so to find out LCM, what should I do? I need to consider the highest power. So among 2 power 1 and 2 power 3, the highest power is 2 power 3 into amongst 3 power 1 and 3 power 0, so 3 power 1 is highest. So what is the answer then? So 2 cube into 3. So 2 cube is 8, 8 3s are 24. Hence the LCM of these two numbers is 24. Right. Now from this we can move on to a conclusion. So whenever you are having two numbers, whenever you are having only two numbers, then you can bring out a relationship between the numbers LCM and the HCF. Right. Now let us see. So what is that? Right. So if you observe the numbers, 6 into 8, how much? So 6 into 8 is 48. The same way here, HCF is 2, LCM is 24. So HCF into LCM, so 2 into 24. So it is also equal to 48. So from this what I can conclude? So product of the numbers is equal to product of LCM and HCF. LCM and HCF. So it is possible only for two numbers. So if you are having more than two numbers, then you cannot apply this particular relation, right? So what that relation we can say is, now if you observe carefully, so product of two numbers, so if you consider the two numbers as A and B, then product of those two numbers is equal to LCM of those two numbers into HCF of those two numbers, right? So for suppose if I consider the numbers as A and B, then the product of those two numbers A, B, so product of two numbers is represented by A into B is equal to, here small l is nothing but LCM of A comma B and small h is nothing but HCF of A comma B, right? So this is applicable only for two numbers, so you need to remember this. So only for two numbers you can go with this particular formula. So for three numbers you need to go in normal procedure, right? Now let's move on with the problems. So these two are nothing but the important concepts, so which we are going to use in this particular exercise. So what is the first one? So first of all, a fundamental theorem of arithmetic. So what fundamental theorem of arithmetic states? So every composite number can be expressed as powers of products of primes irrespective of their order of prime factors, right? So using that prime factorization, so we have learnt how to find out the HCF and LCM of numbers, right? So this is one approach by using which we can find out LCM and HCF of the given numbers. Now let us see. So example number 3. So in your textbook, example number 3. So what he has given, consider the numbers 4 power n. So consider the number 4 power n where n is a natural number. Check whether there is any value for n for which 4 power n ends with the digit 0. So 4 power n ends with the digit 0 means ends. So ends with the digit 0 means, so what is the meaning of end? So end means it is nothing but units digit. So units digit should be 0. So is there any possibility for 4 power n to end with or to have units digit as 0 for any natural number, right? Now let us see, so how we can say whether it exists or not. So for that, so if you consider 4 power n, so it should end with the digit 0. Then so when you will get the units digit as 0, so units digit as 0 means, that means you are having the units place 0. So when will you get the units place as 0? That means it should be divisible by 2 and 5. That means units digit 0 means you need to get a multiple of 10. So multiple of 10 means, so what is the divisibility rule of 10? Units place should be 0, right? So already you have learned in your previous classes, right? So if it is divisible by 10, that means it should be divisible by 2 as well as 5. Now if you observe 4 power n, so how can you write? So it should, so this 4 power n should contain the factors of 2 and 5. But if you observe 4 power n, so how can you write 4 power n as? So 4 power n means, so 4 can be written as 2 square. So 2 square whole power n. So 2 square whole power n means, so a power m whole power n. So you can write as a power mn. Now if you observe, we are having only 2 as the prime number in this factorization. So clearly there is no 5, right? So there is no prime factor 5 in this particular 4 power n. Hence what we can simply say, so since 5 is not present in the prime factorization, so there is no natural number for which 4 power ends with the digit 0. And already you have learned in your previous classes, right? So 4 power 1 means how much? 4. 4 square means 16. That means units place is 6. So what about 4 cube? So 4 cube means 64. Again units digit is ending with 4. Next 4 power 4 means 256. So units place is ending with 6. So if you observe, when the power is odd, So whenever the power is odd natural number, then it is ending with 4, and whenever you are having even natural number as the power, then it is ending with 6. That means 4 power n always ends with either 4 or 6, either 4 or 6 when n is odd, so 6 when n is even. So these are the things that you can simply remember, right? So this is nothing but the theoretical approach. So by means of prime factorization, so what we can say, so 4 power n can never end with the digit 0 because it doesn't contain the prime factor 5 in it. Okay, so based on these, so we are having different types of questions, so which might be asked, right? Now let us see example number 4. So already we have discussed about this particular thing. So find the HCF and LCM of 12 and 18 by the method of prime factorization, right? So first of all, prime factorization means what you should do. So you need to find out the prime factors of 12 and you need to find out the prime factors of 18. So for that, so already you know this procedure, right? So 12 prime factorization, so 2 in 2 table, so 2 6s 12, next again in 2 table, so 2 3s, right? So again in 3 table, so it is 1. So from this, how can I write 12 as? So 12 can be written as 2 square into 3 power 1. So 2 square into 3 power 1. The same way 18. So 18 I can write as 2 in 2 table, so 9 times, again in 3 table 3 times, so again in 3 table, so 1 time. So from this, how can I write 18 as? So 18 can be written as 2 into 3 square. So that means this is 2 power 1. Now first of all, we need to find out the HCF. So HCF of 12 comma 18. Already we have discussed HCF means smallest powers. So smallest powers of the common prime factors, right? So here we are having 2 square, here we are having 2 power 1. So what is the smallest amongst those two? So 2 power 1 into, so amongst 3 power 1 and 3 square, so 3 power 1 is the smallest. So 2 power 1 into 3 power 1 is nothing but 2 into 3, which gives me 6. So from this, what I can say, HCF is 6. Next, moving on to LCM. So LCM of 12 comma 18. So to find out LCM, so what we have to consider here, greatest powers or highest powers. So amongst these two, 2 square and 2 power 1, what is the highest power? So 2 square into 3 power 1 and 3 square, it is 3 square. So clearly, so 2 square is 4, 3 square is 9, so 4 9s are 36. So from this, clearly what I can say, LCM of those two numbers is 36. Okay, so likewise we can find out the LCM and HCF of the given two numbers by means of prime factorization, right? So HCF means, least powers. So LCM means greatest powers. So these you need to remember, right? Okay, next moving on to the next question. So find the HCF and LCM of the following given pairs of numbers by prime factorization, right? So this is also similar to the previous question. Okay, so first question, so 120. So how can we write 120 as? So you need to do prime factorization of this. So 120. So how can you do? So 2 table. So 260 is 120. Next again 2 table 30. Again 2 table 15. Again, so 3 table 5 times. Again 5 table 1 time. So from this, we are going to have the prime factorization of 120. The same way, do it for 90 also. So 2 table 45 times. Again, so 3 table, so 3 ones are 3, 3 5s 15. Next again 3 table, so 5 times, 5 table 1 time. So from this, I can write 120 as, so 2 cube into 3 into 5. So which is nothing but 2 cube into 3 power 1 into 5 power 1. Next 90, I can write it as 2 power 1 into 3 square into 5 power 1. Right. Now from this, So directly HCF is nothing but the least power. So if you observe the least power of these two, so 2 power 1 into what is the least power of this? 3 power 1 into 5 power 1. So 5 2s are 10, 10 3s are 30. So HCF is 30. The same way LCM also we can find it out. So LCM is 2 cube into, so 3 square into 5 power 1. So here we have considered the least powers, so here you will be considering the highest powers, right? So on simplification you are going to get the answer for this, right? So do it yourself, right? Next, for 50 and 60, so this already you can make it a try. So 2 table 25 times, next 5 table 5 times, again 5 table 1 time. The same way for 60, so you can do it the same manner. So 2 table 30 times, again 2 table 15 times, 3 table 5 times, and 5 table 1 time, right? Now from this, how can I write this 50 as? So 50 I can write it as 2 into 5 square, so which is nothing but 2 power 1 into 5 square. Next 60 I can write it as 2 square into 3 power 1 into 5 power 1. So 2 power 1, 2 square into 3 power 1 into 5 power 1. In 50 you don't have the factor 3. So for that what I am going to do is I am going to consider 3 power 0. Okay, now writing down the HCF. So to write down the HCF, what should I consider? I need to consider the least powers. So 2 power 1 into, next about 3 powers, so 3 power 0 into 5 power 1. Now 3 power 0 is 1, so 2 into 5, it is nothing but 10. So HCF is 10. Next, moving on to LCM. So LCM is nothing but writing down the highest common prime factors. So 2 square into 3 power 1 into 5 square. So 2 square into 5 square, so 2 5s are 10, 10 square is 100, so 100 3s are 300. So LCM is 300, right? So likewise you can easily solve these type of problems. Next, moving on to the next question. So 37. So is any number which divides 37? So you need to remember the prime numbers here. So at least till 100 you need to remember, right? So here 37 is a prime number. So 37 is a prime number, so it divides only in 37, so one time, right? The same way, next, what about 49? So 49 means 7 7s are 49, again in 7 table, so one time. So clearly 37 I can write it as 37 power 1. Next, 49 I can write it as 7 square. Now since I don't have 7 power here, so 7 power 0. Here I don't have 37 power, so 37 power 0. Now if you observe HCF of 37 and 49, so HCF of 37 and 49 is nothing but you need to consider the least powers. So if you observe 7 square and 7 power 0, the least power is 7 power 0, and the least power for 37 and 37 power 0 is 37 power 0. Now if you observe these two, so you are going to get 1. So if you observe these two carefully, so you can say that these two are co-primes. We can say that these two numbers are co-primes. So when you consider two co-primes, their HCF will be always equal to 1, right? So always do remember, so when you are having co-primes, then their HCF is always 1. Next, moving on to the LCM. So LCM means you need to take the highest powers, so it is 7 square into 37, so which is nothing but the product of two numbers. So product of two numbers. So if you observe the thing carefully, so whenever HCF is 1, LCM will be the product of two numbers. So that means, so from this what we can conclude is, so whenever you consider two co-prime numbers, so whenever you consider two co-prime numbers, then their HCF will be equal to 1 and their LCM will be equal to the product of the two numbers. The product of two numbers. Right, let us see one more example. So try this problem. So in your textbook it is given in try this. So show that 3 power n into 4 power m cannot end with the digit 0 or 5 for any natural number. So what he has given? So 3 power n into 4 power m. Now if you observe this carefully, so this I can write as 3 power n into, so 4 I can write as 2 square whole power m. Again this I can write as 3 power n into 2 power 2m. Now if you observe this carefully, as per the fundamental theorem of arithmetic, so this is nothing but a composite number, and this particular composite number contains the two prime factors 2 and 3. Now what is he asking? So he is asking whether the given number, so 3 power n into 4 power m, cannot end with 0 or 5, right? So first of all we are going to talk about 0. So already we have discussed, so for a number to end with 0, so for a number to end with 0, it should contain the prime factors 2 and 5. So 2 and 5 means, so it should contain both the prime factors 2 as well as 5. But in the given number, so if you observe, there is only 2 that is present, so there is no 5 here, right? So since it doesn't contain the prime factor 5, so since 3 power n into 4 power m, so what we can say here, since 3 power n into 4 power m does not contain, so does not contain prime factor, so it does not contain the prime factor 5, hence it never end with 0, hence it never end with 0. So already a related problem we have discussed previously, right? Now talking about 5. So how can I say about 5? So when can you say that a number ends with 5? So for a number to end with 5, so for a number to end with 5, in the prime factorization you should have the prime factor 5. So for a number to end with 5, you should have a prime factor 5 and you should not have 2 here. So in the given prime factorization you should not have 2. You should not have 2 in the prime factorization. So clearly if you observe this, so you are having prime factor 2, but we don't have prime factor 5. So clearly it is not ending with 0, as well as if you observe, you are having a prime factor 2. So whenever you are having a prime factor 2, it will always be an even number. So if it is an even number, so if a number ends with 5, then it becomes an odd number, right? So whenever you are having a prime factor 2, that means it always be an even number. So clearly this particular 3 power n into 4 power m cannot end with 5. So what we can say, since 3 power n into 4 power m has 2 as the prime factor, so 2 as the prime factor, hence it is always an even number. So it is always an even number. But if you want to say that it ends with 5, then it should be an odd number. So clearly it will never end with 0 as well as 5, right? So these are nothing but the example questions, so which are present before exercise number 1.2. So related to the exercise problems, so we will discuss in the next video, right? So thank you for watching the video. So stay connected to the channel. So thank you for watching.